world knows Kelsey Grammer for his star-making, Emmy-winning roles, but for decades, he's wrestled with a deeply personal pain over the tragic murder of his beloved sister at just 18 years old. And now he's opening up about this struggle to find the healing in the heartbreak. But hope, this is a New York Times best-selling memoir. It's called Karen, A Brother Remembers. Please welcome the fabulous Kelsey Grammer. So this July will be 50 years since your sister's murder. What made what made it the right time for you to tell the story?
Right. I've mentioned it before, you know, throughout my life. I've covered some of it before, but I never looked at it through the point of view that I should actually tell Karen's story. And it was always kind of my story. So I was with a channeler, a woman named Esther, who was, she channels all sorts of things for all sorts of people, Hollywood people, you know. They go, oh yeah, she's a really great channel. So she's a medium, and she lives in England, but she's from Brazil, I think. So I was, a phone call was arranged. I produced a show called Medium years ago too, so I live in that world a little bit.
Me too.
So I get on the phone with her, and she says, Jess, I want you to relax. She has sort of a bit of a thick accent, you know. Relax a little bit. Lie down, be comfortable. And I was like, okay, yeah, good. And then I started to hear a little stick shaking and a little bone rattling, and I'm going, oh boy, here we go. And she said, okay. And then as we began, she stopped and said, your sister wants you to tell her story. Wow. And I thought, wow. Whoa, no one's ever said that before. Some people have, you know, had Karen kind of come through and speak to me, through me, whatever. And I thought, well, I wonder how I'd go about doing that. And then I said, I don't even know if I have any pictures around. And then she said, oh no, Karen's saying that there's tons of pictures. So in the book, I actually did a visual reveal where I have a little card I wrote this down on, and then she says there's tons of pictures and flip over the page, and my dining room table was covered with pictures for the next 2 years. It was a great experience, and that's why I finally did it now. But it's funny, in the writing, I keep this chapter, this section of Hamlet keeps coming in my head, where there's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be not now, yet it will be. And I thought the readiness is what it comes up to be. And it was really that I wasn't ready, I think, until I got older, to try to put it into context, put my life in context with Karen's, discover something about her life, walk in her footsteps more, and to remember her into the world I live in, to introduce the world to my sister Karen, who's just the most wonderful girl.
Well, you detail your sister's murder in the book in great detail. Just days before her 19th birthday, she was kidnapped by men in a parking lot in Colorado Springs, brutally raped and stabbed 42 times. You actually only recently went back and read the full police report, which I imagine would be devastating to do. What has it been like to relive that, and what made you want to have those details?
Yeah, to tell her story it was important to know the details. I felt like I was kind of a sleuth, you know, sort of searching for Karen. And the police report was a sticking point, and I thought, well, maybe I better find it, but the real purpose of reading the police report was to find out if there was somebody who might know something nobody else knew, that I didn't know. And of course, I did discover several friends that she had that I never knew about. And I was able to speak to a few of them, and that was the greatest thing. The barbarity and the cruelty of that night, part of my mission or my hope is that someone who's been grieving in their lives over something similar would find a way through my own course with this, and maybe find a way to have their grief, which is forever, square up a little more with the joy that you had. You know, at least to be able to face each other on a 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what I didn't have. I spent my whole life putting Karen in that horrible night, in that place, where after I saw her and identified her body, and I couldn't let that image go. The book helped me do that. Yeah. And so now she lives again.
Yeah.
And she's vibrant and alive, and that's what I want to give to other people, that they can bring those people back to their lives, because they are with you always.
All the time.
And they are alive, and they're still at the, yeah, oh, she was just wonderful. She was the greatest girl.
I have to ask you about this, because you had all these ideas of what may have happened. And then when you went back and discovered that some of the ideas that you had that sort of got you through and made you feel like there were wonderful people out there, there were still great people. How did you, in discovering that people perhaps were not as wonderful as you had hoped, how do you hold on to your humanity and allow them to have their humanity as well?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. It's a very good question, yeah. I'd always had this idea that the fellow that found Karen actually kind of helped her, comforted her, and tried to, make her life better. Apparently, he did not do that, and called the cops and just said, "There's a body out by my front porch. Come and get it." That was disappointing to me, because I thought that someone had been kind, at least tried.
Yeah.
And that's my own hope for humanity. Yeah. And yeah, humanity lets us down sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah.
I came to terms with the people who heard, there was a couple who'd heard a young woman scream, or they thought a woman's scream, and they went back to bed. And I thought, but then I remembered, back then,
Yep.
73, 4, 5, around, and then the word apathy was a very popular word. Yeah. Everybody talked about the apathetic
Yep.
society. We were all locked in it. Nobody seemed to really care, to the point where once one of my teachers said, "I don't know what the word apathy means, and I don't care."
And I never forgot apathy.
Pretty good, yeah. I thought, that's pretty good. So yeah, people disappoint us, but then people surprise us too. And the district attorney, the police who picked me up and took me to the body and stuff like that. These guys were people trying to do the world some good, and they were frustrated and upset themselves. 7 people were killed that summer. Karen was number 6 out of 7. Wow. They only tried for 3 of them, but these guys were on a killing spree, whatever they thought they were doing, and they were just hurting innocent people. They killed one guy for 50 cents.
Yeah.
It was just, just a horrible way to go down into the descent of man, I guess you'd call it. But they were lost. They were lost, and people still ask me. They say, how would you feel if Freddie got out, whatever? And I said, well, I feel pretty bad, but there's also this part of me. I mean, he is my brother, and that's just we are all brothers, and it's a very difficult thing to wrestle with. But and you've known, this kind of stuff. When you lose your family, it's hard, and you lose them fast. It's really tough. Yeah.
But I overshot your question. I apologize.
Oh, we have time when we come back.
Come back, yes.
Oh, yeah.